Beautiful. So to kick off with, I suppose, with our brand new recipe scaling, this is basically a rolling update coming through Cookidoo. So far there is about 300 recipes that have been tried and tested and updated for this new feature. So what that means is, and I'm going to show you the list in a second, but what it means is when you actually go into these recipes, they've already been up and down scaled and tested. So you'll see the serving sizes there and you say, okay, I want to take it from 4 to 6. You click on 6 and it automatically adjusts the recipe. And a bit like anything new with Cookidoo, there's always a little bit of trial and error and a little bit of rolling out the kinks, which is definitely the phase that we're in right now. So you may see some funny things, like maybe sometimes you see half an egg as an ingredient item, which isn't really practical. And that can obviously be done a little bit better. And I think Tennille's Well's found a couple of things that just don't quite make sense. You go, oh, that isn't very practical. So we have a feedback site, and I'm just waiting to I can definitely email the list out to everyone. I'm just waiting for that link to come through tonight, and I'll send that out to you all as well. So once you start using it, will you come across anything that is a little bit funny or a little bit, doesn't really work in that, once it's been changed, just send that through to the email so that they can do their best. They're really working on it to try and get it all fixed and all up and going as quick as they can. So that's the initial way that you'll be able to do that. I'm going to bring up that list in a second. And the other way, for all of the other recipes, there's obviously thousands on Cookidoo. For the other recipes that haven't yet been done by our recipe development kitchens, when you click now on the button to select the portion size, it will say it'll take you into a created recipe. And this means that it isn't automatic. It doesn't automatically upsize or downsize the recipe, but it gives you then the option to do it yourself straight into that created recipe. So this is where you're going to have a little bit of Thermomix knowledge already. It isn't something that you'll probably be doing the first week that you get your Thermomix, but once you get a bit of the hang of it, I think everyone on here has had their Thermomix for a little while. But that is where you can then, as soon as you click on that button, you can start to edit it yourself. So you can change that beef mince from 500 to 700 grams and edit it all. So I'll show you how that is done. But I think the highlight and the best way to really use the feature right now is to be using those already pre-done recipes, because it's just a matter of selecting how big or small you want and then going along with your cooking. For those of you with TM5s, similar to the created recipes, Cookidoo on your TM5 doesn't have the capabilities to take this just yet. Possibly we haven't heard that it is coming, so it may not come through for you guys, unfortunately. You will still be able to do it on the website the same, but yeah, not on the screen of your TM5, just like with the created recipes as well. So I'm just going to quickly show you if I can get this photo to show how I would like it to. Can you guys see this on the screen? Give me a thumbs up in the chat if you can, as I can't see your faces just now.
Yep, I can see it.
Yes, beautiful. Thank you, Carissa. Awesome. So I'll email this out to everyone that's registered tonight, but these are our pre-launch recipes. So this is what's already been done. There may even be a few more added to this list since it was sent out to us, but these are basically the ones that we were given to say, this is what we've already done. We're working on more all the time. But if you can start off with these ones, these are really cool ones. And everyone getting in and using this as this update first rolls out, you are going to be a little bit of our guinea pigs on the ground in terms of that you will be picking up, those little errors in recipes and things like that. So please don't get upset with Cookidoo at the moment. If you prefer to really use things that are, always perfect and smooth, then maybe hold off a couple of weeks and start to use it then. But I would suggest have a little play around with it and just start to see what you think. It is really, really handy. All right, I'm going to jump into Cookidoo. Again, if someone can let me know off mute or in if off mute ideally, just if you guys can see this on my screen. Once I can bring it up, here we are.
Yeah,
you guys?
we can. Yeah.
Beautiful, thank you. So this is just Cookidoo on the website. Obviously, I'm on a phone, which isn't ideal, but that's okay. Cookidoo website. Like I said, it doesn't work on the app at this stage. It is just done through the website and on your TM6. So if I have a look here at pizza dough, this is a recipe that was on that list that's already been done. Going to pizza dough and see here where you've got serving sizes. Usually it doesn't look like a clickable button. It is just the same as the 1 hour, 5 minute easy. But now you can click there and size it up or down. So for yourself, Andrew, if you're only wanting to do less pizza, you can just go serving size down to 2. And now everything has been done and you can see all the ingredients have been taken down along with all the recipe as well. Nutrition panel and everything has all been changed. And same thing now if you want to go back up. Here we go. And everything has been made bigger. This is going to be awesome for myself. I always upsize pizza dough anyway. So this is one that I will use all the time, which is pretty awesome. And now you'll see when we click here you have the chance to make it your own. So if I go back out and into a recipe that hasn't been done yet, it hasn't been tested and upscaled or downscaled in our recipe development kitchens, and let's have a look. The banana bread hadn't been last night, so let's see if it still hasn't been. Let's have a look. Yeah, so see when you click on this one, I don't get the options to upsize or downsize it, but I do get the option to make it my own. And when I click here, you can see here it gives you, a little screen here to explain what's going on. You can click learn more there. So if you are someone who just wants to get in and have a play, I really encourage you to get in and do that, because you don't need to know a whole lot or have heaps of knowledge around Cookidoo. It is pretty easy in terms of it prompting you through. You've got the learn more and the extra little tutorials and things in Cookidoo. But if we just go start, to give you a little idea, you can see up the top you've got your portions. So you can then say, all right, this was a banana bread for 8. It will automatically put some guesstimates in there, but it hasn't been, a tried and tested recipe. So that's where then you can jump in there, edit it around a little bit for what you need to do, and then you can save. So you can see you can go up and down. And then when you're ready to, you can, so say let's go for 6. This is a very, very small amount. We can say save. Now we have a much smaller loaf of banana bread. Say done. So now this now sits in our created recipes. So we go to our Thermomix now and we start with this one. This is going to be a 6 serving size of the banana bread. Does that make sense?
It's blowing everyone's mind.
I'm just jumping out to see what's in the chat. Now, yes, Andrew, at this stage, it will become one of the 100 created recipes. So we all want details around when will that 100 be increased, because lots of people are starting to fill them up. I think something to keep in mind with this is depending on how many things you're upsizing and downsizing, and something like that banana bread, if you're not actually adjusting that too much, it might be just an easy one for you to delete out of your created recipes, and the next time that you make it, go in and do the same thing if you're worried about that created recipe space right now. But we are definitely waiting to hear what's happening with that 100 spots and when will it be increased. Yeah Awesome. So what do you think? Have you got questions? What else do you want to know about it? What are your initial thoughts? While they're popping them in, Tennille, I know you've had a pretty good play with it. What do you have to add or inform everyone?
Yeah, probably just initially just to keep an eye on just the recipe ingredient lists, like when you are bumping it up or down. It's all still in a trial phase, I consider. Even though they're rolling it out, I think you should just watch it and just have a quick glance and make sure that it looks right compared to if you've doubled it or decreased it. Use your common sense. Have a look. If it was 1 banana and you doubled it and now it says 3 bananas, then that's not quite right. So just to have a quick look, I would suggest. But yeah, at this stage, I haven't tested anything that was being cooked. I only did things that were being mixed. So they were pretty easy scale up and scale down things. So yeah, definitely I'd keep an eye on cook times as well. And if it's the very first time you're doing a recipe where you've got to bulk the recipe up, so you've got to add more chicken and all that, it will bump up the cook time. But maybe just double check the first time you do that recipe and you've 1.5'd it, just check the chicken is cooked. But that, to me, that's common sense, just, you do that anyway. Make sure your chicken's cooked before you eat it.
Yeah, absolutely. Particularly as this is starting to roll out. So please, be a bit forgiving with Cookidoo if it doesn't. We have our Life Changes community group, or your consultant might have their own group on Facebook and things like that. They're a really good forum to throw around those things and say, try this. It asked for 3 bananas. Just a heads up if you're making it, or I tried this and it didn't work, or this worked really well. All of that sort of feedback is fantastic, not just for yourself, but for all of the Thermi users around. And we'd love to know what you're doing with it. So please let us know, pop it into that Life Changes group or into your consultants group or whatever it might be, and let us know how you're going when you're trialing it, and what's working and what isn't working. I will just show you one more thing now. I think most of you guys have probably use Cookidoo enough if you've sort of figured these things out or you've been on our other sessions, but just to support you. And if you do, you might see other people that are really struggling with this, particularly if they're newer to Cookidoo. If you go up into your menu, and this is the same on the app, if I go here to help, you've got all these tutorials on Cookidoo. So these are in the Cookidoo platform. We go here for start learning. You've got all these step-by-step instructions and videos on how to create a recipe, how to import a recipe, how to edit a recipe, how to cook on your Thermomix, how to adapt serving sizes. So they're adding all of these tutorials and videos in things in here. So this could be a really, really good one for you to jump in and have a bit of a look at. They'll be adding more and more things in there all the time, but great ones to give out as well. If you're seeing people asking lots of questions saying, don't know how to use this, we often hear it with created recipes. People say, I tried to import it from the recipe community and it just didn't work. That's because you need to edit it, sometimes going into guided cooking and things. So these little tutorial bites in Cookidoo are really, really, really handy. But we will be running more things like this. We're just having a bit of a look at what do we do over November. Maybe we do like a bit of a recipe conversion sort of a Zoom, if that's something you guys might be interested in, where we're sort of looking at that downsizing, upsizing, manually, cooking a recipe or adapting a recipe and that sort of thing. If you guys are interested in it, whatever you think might be helpful. All right, in the chat box, will it tell you if you're going over the bowl limit by scaling? I haven't seen that. I haven't been told that yet. Tennille, did you get told that at all, that you're going over the bowl limit?
I didn't see that come up, but what I did notice is that when you do scale up or scale down between different recipes, it will only allow you to scale up to a certain number of serving sizes. So I'm kind of inferring from that in that recipe that they've tested, they've gone based on the amount of ingredients you're going to add. If we scale it up by 1.5, you can't go more than that because you will go over your bowl limit. But I'm only making an assumption about that. But it does seem pretty clear that, yeah, some recipes will let you 1.5 the recipe, whereas others will let you double it. And that makes sense. You know, if you're making a batch of 12 muffins, it's probably not going to fit a 24 batch of muffins in that bowl because it's probably half full, or it just won't mix as effectively. But again, that's just going to be something you'll have to see as you're going along. You know, Andrew. And also, Andrew, when you said it only goes to 2 and not 1, do you mean most of the scaling recipes are only letting you go down to 2 serves and none of them are ever a 1 serve? Yeah, I noticed the same. I haven't found any of them that are cutting it back just to a single serve.
That is definitely feedback that we can give, though, to maybe develop some recipes or scale some recipes down just to serve 1 person. Just cook every second day. And Brooks just asked a really good question. Will you bring out a larger bowl in the future? That isn't something that I can answer for you. I do not know. I can say that it would be, from my assumption, it would probably be an entire new machine. I don't imagine that you could make the TM6 bowl, for example, like bigger, taller, and have it still effective. It would be an entire new bowl, machine size, engine, everything. I can assume would be pretty different. I know with the TM31 being a smaller bowl, it is slightly shaped in more at the bottom. And so with the 5 and 6, it was just a matter of basically pulling the bottom out a little bit more. It's only about, I think it's only about a cup's worth, maybe 250 mils or something like that. But it just makes it that little bit bigger. But obviously there was a lot of development going into that. It wasn't a small thing. So I don't know. It isn't something that I can answer for you. The locking arms wouldn't work if you made it taller. That's right. So it would be an entire model. Maybe they'll bring out a Thermomix one day that will have 2 different sizes. I don't know what they're working on. But yeah, it's not a question that I can answer for you. I'm sorry. The TM7, maybe they will do a giant Thermomix one day. I don't know. But at this stage, it is just the bowl size that it is. And the next best thing is having 2 bowls, like our current deal. But yeah, sorry, I can't answer that one for you. No worries. So what do you guys think? Do you have any questions for us or anything else you sort of want to see or have a look at before we finish up? No, it looks like we've answered everything. I'm going to turn our recording off.